Welcome into the Stargazing Podcast. This is episode number 4, our first that is recorded on video. To my right is Isaiah Killinger.
Hello.
Right here is Colby, our producer.
What's up?
And Nick, our other producer.
I am here.
He's here.
He's here. No, what's up, guys? No, what's up?
Nothing. He says,
Not today, no.
You say, what's up, guys, every time. Why are you going to stop
How about
now?
this? What's up, guys?
Perfect.
That works for me.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, this is our first podcast we're doing recorded for you guys, so we hope you enjoy it. Going straight to YouTube. Be sure to follow us on our Twitter page, Instagram page. Do we have a Snapchat yet?
No.
No. Okay. Twitter and Instagram is what we're going with.
It's unofficially Nick's Snapchat.
There we go. And then
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, Nick, what's your Snapchat?
Nick.Pretch.
Nick.Pretch. So all the ladies watching. Nick is on the snap. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Stargazing Radio on YouTube. Our YouTube channel, Stargazing Radio. Is it podcast?
Stargazing
It's
Podcast.
podcast.
Stargazing
now.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Change all the graphics, too.
Stargazing Pod on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And Stargazing Podcast on Instagram.
I think it's still Stargazing Radio on Instagram.
We're going to figure our social media stuff out. Just
They'll be
find us.
there. The
Instagram
links
is
will
still
be there.
Stargazing Radio.
The links will be there.
Yeah, we'll put the links in the description below. If you guys have any comments or suggestions how we should do this better, let us know. Another thing I want to bring up at the beginning of the show, just in case those of you who are watching decide this is horrible and leave. We are on the campus here at University of Central Missouri, and with that, we want to bring local artists onto the show to talk about their music or their thoughts about music or anything. So if you make music and you're close to us, get in contact with us, reach out to us on those social media pages, and we'll get you on the show, and we'll just talk, you know? It's kind of what we're here to do. So without further ado, we got a big show today, I think.
Pretty interesting.
I'll let Isaiah.
It's a more personal show
Yeah.
rather than objective.
Yeah, our friend Isaiah is going through it today. I've been going
Yeah.
through it for a while now, so we're just
Sorry.
gonna cope with our music talk.
I need to listen to one of these albums on my list tonight.
All right, so I'll let Isaiah kick it off.
All right, so this past week during our brainstorming session, we were trying to figure out topics, and one of the ones that were thrown out there were 3 albums that have impacted our life. First album is going to be what shaped our music taste. The second album is going to be one that we connect with on an emotional level, and the third is just our favorite album of 2018. So, what do you want to start with? You want to start with shape? You want to go like in chronological order?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think you have to start with the shape because
Kind of to give you a feel for like.
now my shape is gonna be interesting because I've changed. Because I only listened to rock till I was about like 13.
I only listened to rock until I was 8 or 9.
I was probably 13 when I switched, but I can remember I don't know. We'll get into that. Go ahead.
Okay, so
start.
so for the first one, it's albums that shaped our music taste.
Yeah, and we have 3 different categories, but like it doesn't have to be like an album category. It's just like
No,
it's kind of like a comprehensive
Yeah,
guide
it's whatever.
thing. So, all right.
So the first album on my list is Collision Course by Linkin Park and Jay-Z. Have you ever heard this?
The Jay-Z Linkin Park collab tape?
Yes.
I haven't.
Dude, my dad had this, the explicit version. It was like a show that MTV did.
Yeah.
And they would just take 2 artists from separate genres, and then they would just have them, like, combine songs. That's how they got the Numb and Encore thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? That they play at, like, basketball games, football games, whatever? Yeah.
I've never been a fan of that.
Really?
Yeah.
It's overplayed
Mm-hmm.
there, but, like, every other song is sick. I'm going to pull up the track list, actually, but it's awesome. It really combines the 2 very well, and it's like it doesn't make sense, but it shows how adaptable Jay-Z is, because 99 Problems is like Rick Rubin. It's kind of a rock song. It has a rocky instrumental, electric guitars and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then Linkin Park, they have Mike Shinoda.
Right, yeah. So the
So-
4 minor stuff, that was kind of hip-hoppy.
Yeah. What's yours? What's your album?
Oh, we can't do that. You got to finish your thought first.
Alright.
Huh?
We can like just
No, I'm going to save it special. I got to save mine because mine's like a very drawn-out thing, building anticipation.
Okay.
So,
One of them,
Mhm.
they combined 3 songs. One was Points of Authority, 99 Problems, and One Step Closer. Like one step closer to the edge.
yeah,
And I'm
wait,
about to
whoa, they mixed that? With what?
99 Problems.
What?
Dude, when this is over, I'm going to show you this album. This album is crazy. it's hard to describe. Besides, it's just Linkin Park plus Jay-Z. I mean, there's some original verses too, but like it's just it was like a transitional for me. It was like a transitional point, going from listening to like 3 Days Grace, Nickelback, Linkin Park. That's what I
Right.
listened to, and then that fed into Jay-Z making the collab with Linkin Park, and Jay-Z was like my favorite rapper for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Blueprint 3 on my PSP. That's what I would listen to music as. I'd use that as an iPod. I didn't play games or anything on it. Well, I did, but like it was whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I illegally downloaded like all these albums, all these rap albums because of Jay-Z. Dude, Jay-Z was my gateway into like my musical identity now, which is hip hop. It's a great album. MTV, that was like the very best and most it had the most staying power of anything from that MTV show.
It'd be nice if they still played music.
Yeah, I mean they have like MTV Jams and stuff, but it's nothing.
It's not the same, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, so for you, that's like the first thing that you would say, what launched you in like your hip hop taste?
Yeah, that's what got me very interested because I was like aware of it,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't, or I didn't have a memory of it because I guess my dad would play like old Eminem CDs in the car and I would like rap along with him or something. But I don't remember that. But besides that, like this was my earliest hip hop memory is like Numb, Encore, 99 Problems, One Step Closer. It's right here. Dirt Off Your Shoulder, Lying From You, Big Pimpin', Paper Cut, Jigga What and Faint, Izzo and In the End,
Really?
H to the Izzo, E to the Izzy, then In the End, yes. Yeah, it was only 6
So,
tracks.
like, did they ever record any of this together, or is it just like spliced?
No, they were like it's like together, and then they did a concert together where they like did the albums.
Oh my god!
It's on a CD.
Oh,
I
wow.
can get that.
From.
My dad. He's got 2. It's tight. It's one of my it's low key one of my favorite albums
That's
of all time.
I guess I'm gonna have to listen to that.
Dude, it's worth listening to.
I don't know. I just feel like that's weird.
It was. I mean, if you think of it's like peanut butter jelly.
But like are the themes coherent? You know,
No.
at all.
No.
Yeah. So just like, what is this?
No, it's like a melting pot and it just works. It works for me. It was just tight to hear them all, to like hear the 3 voices that you usually hear, well, Chester Bennington and Mike Shinoda and then Jay-Z all come together for remixes to their songs.
All right. That's cool. Anything else you want to throw out there?
The concert's worth watching. It's on YouTube. The concert's on YouTube. It's worth
Is it?
watching. Yes.
The whole show?
Yes.
That's cool. All right. Well, I guess that means it's my turn, huh? Oh, excuse me, guys. Yeah. So that's cool. That the first like stuff you got into is rock. It was me too, because my dad really raised me on like the classic stuff, like Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Def Leppard. Like, you know, growing up, like he has these walls, like very tall speakers in his house. And I remember being 5 years old, and it was like 9 in the morning. I wasn't even up yet, and he would turn them up like all the way, and I could hear it, like it would rattle my bedroom upstairs, and I would yell down the stairs, "Turn that off!"
How old are you?
It's like 5 or 6. No, my dad's a jammer. My dad's a drummer, so like he's just always been into like very, you know, aggressive rock music. So that kind of shaped my first like musical stuff. When I was 8 years old, my parents split up, and I didn't like my stepdad, and my dad was like in a bunch of bad relationships. So I grew up like kind of an angsty kid. Like even when I was young, I was like very angsty. So my music taste, like the development of it's really interesting to say the least. But I remember the first album I ever like listened to, and that was Phobia by Breaking Benjamin, and that's still a classic to me to this day. But I remember that because one of those songs that I would yell at my dad to turn off was "The Diary of Jane," and of course that's their big hit. And I hated it for a long time, and I don't know, my dad was just like stuck on it. So I don't know, he played it enough times. Eventually, I downloaded it on this little MP3 player thing I had, and I just played it over and over again, and I got hooked on it. I was like, this is awesome, you know. And it's like kind of grungy, and it's kind of like a dark sounding song. So I listened to it for, you know, when you're younger, you can get behind like 10 songs. So I had that, and I had just like other like rock songs in there. But then I heard the next single off that album, Breath, when it came out. And it was the best song I ever heard. It was like, wow, this band is awesome, you know? So I was 8 or 9 years old, and I had just discovered YouTube. So one day I went on YouTube, and I pulled up the whole album of Phobia, and I listened to it. And, you know, it's like, at the time, there was no way I could have grasped what that album's about, which, to me, it's about, like, I mean, it's called Phobia, and the artwork's very dark, and the music's very grungy. But it's just an album just kind of about, you know, your fears, and, like, he faces, like, different fears in every song, and a lot of it's about losing people and stuff like that. But it's a very emotional album, and I didn't grasp it when I was that young, but it just sounded good, you know?
Yeah.
It was like the first thing that really shaped what I got into. So I just loved the sounds and the darkness, and, you know, like I said, I was kind of like an angsty kid. So, like, I was in 4th grade listening to all this stuff, and people used to look at me. I'd write the song titles down on my papers at school, and people would be like, "You listen to Dance with the Devil? What's wrong with you?"
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. but no, so as I got older, I started listening to a lot of Seether and 3 Days Grace. I really liked. Shinedown was the band I was really into. Chevelle. Just kind of like that post-grunge stuff, that early 2000s post-grunge music I really liked a lot. So that was the first thing I really listened to. And then I think, like a lot of kids do in middle school, I discovered Eminem. And I think what drew me to Eminem was, like, I was very, like, I wasn't anti-hip-hop, I just never heard it.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my mom really liked Usher and stuff like that. I remember Hot in Here was her favorite song when I was
That's
growing up.
Nelly.
I said Usher and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I know it's
my
Nelly.
bad. My bad. I'm sorry. I knew you knew that. I'm sorry.
STL's own.
STL.
No, I knew that. I meant Usher and stuff, but it jogged my memory. My mom's favorite song was Hot in Here, the Nelly song. And so I was, like, familiar with the urban contemporary, like, hip-hop scene, but I wasn't, like, I never had any exposure to it. But then I discovered Eminem through the Recovery album. And the song Not Afraid was on the radio, and I learned every lyric to that song. I can still, like, rap it to this day. So if we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll upload a video of me rapping that whole thing just for you guys.
Acapella?
Acapella. So tell your friends. Hit that subscribe button.
That's quite a gift.
1,000, that's
For you guys.
Yeah, for you. So I discovered that Recovery album, and I really liked it. I learned all the words of that song, and then Love the Way You Lie was on the radio, and I really liked that song. And I attached Eminem because even though I listen to, like, this dark, like, rock music, like, Eminem's kind of like a heavy rapper, you know? Like, his subject matter is heavy, and, like, his beats are very heavy and, like, dark. And I don't know. I was just really into that sound. So I really got into Eminem for, like, a year. That's all I listened to. They had My Bad Recovery. I had the album, like, the physical copy. My mom bought it for me. And then Fuse used to do this thing called, like, artist takeovers, where they would play, like, music videos from artists, like, all day long.
Yeah, the first one they ever did was Eminem.
Yeah, I watched that whole special, like, 3 times.
Yeah.
So I remember them doing it a bunch.
It was tight.
So I got familiar with, like, all the funny Eminem songs, like Just Lose It and Without Me. Without Me is probably my favorite, like, funny rap song still. Just because I know it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then Mockingbird I liked a lot. Stan was cool. Like, I love the music video for that. And in middle school, you know, your taste starts to mature, I guess, a little bit. So I really like that. So yeah, I was a very dark kid as far as my music went. And it's funny how that shaped my music taste now because, like, I have a lot of trouble listening to, like, slow jams.
Yeah.
Like, very slow music. Like, Isaiah knows that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, you know, I'm just hooked on, like, deep bass and, like, heavy guitar, and I don't know. It's the reason I like Travis Scott a lot, I think, and a lot of Kanye stuff. Like Yeezus is my favorite Kanye album.
Yeah.
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is just a lot of like guitar and like it's just kind of gritty.
It
So, yeah, that's how I got into the music I'm into today.
How did when you talked about growing up and then getting involved with other stuff, but how has Phobia grown with you as you've gotten older? Because I know you're still like a huge, like we went to that Breaking Benjamin concert.
Oh yeah, Breaking Benjamin's my favorite band in the world. I would say I like the sound when I was younger, but now I like, I listen to the words and I like relate it to, things I've been through. Like it's hard for me to like describe like the effect it has on me. Like it's funny because I've heard it so many times. Every time I listen to that album, I just think the whole time. Like I don't really
You
actively
don't listen.
Yeah, because I already know what's gonna happen.
Uh-huh.
But it like makes me a very active thinker.
But you're still aware of it, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I know the track list and I know everything that's gonna happen.
And you can be singing along with it, but be thinking of like something completely different.
Yeah, I'm that familiar with it. Like I've heard that album over 100 times.
Yeah, that's kind of a good segue
Mm-hmm.
into I like when you talk about things like that because it's unfamiliar to me.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a good segue into what I assume both of our emotional albums is,
Yeah.
and because I know and mine and I think his is Blonde, but is it?
Yeah.
It's Blonde by Frank Ocean, and I know every single lyric, every like the composition, everything front to back, the track list. I know all of it by heart, and all the musical cues and notes. It's probably the closest album I could come to singing, or I don't sing, but like the closest album I could come to memorizing, just without any reference, and that's an album that I could listen to, sing along with, and just be zoned out, thinking about something entirely different than what
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing. I'm seeing something completely different and feeling something completely different, and it's almost every time.
Yeah, that's what Phobia does to me. If that's like how you're describing it,
yeah.
like, do you like you're not actively listening to it,
Sometimes
It just takes you somewhere.
sometimes.
Yeah, that's how I feel when I listen to that album too.
And I have like memories attached to every single song from it.
Yeah,
Now, I didn't, but as I've grown, songs have picked up new meanings,
right.
and lyrics have picked up new meanings. I've actually grown to love the compositions a lot more. My favorite song changes every time I listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
The writing style is so opaque, or maybe it's translucent. You kind of get an idea of what he's talking about, but you don't see. It's nothing direct.
Yeah, but it's like enough to where you can like make your own story.
Yeah. He
You
lets everything up for interpretation. Nothing is spelled out clear as day for you. Sometimes, I mean, but that's how it's meant to be. Like he never uses the pronoun he, her. Well, he uses it once in Future of Free.
Mm-hmm.
He uses she once in Future of Free, the final track. But throughout the rest of the album, and he's bisexual, so he uses like you, they, the whole album.
Yeah, and it's very ambiguous. It's a very ambiguous album. The thing about Blonde to me that struck me differently than any other album I've listened to is like the feeling of dread.
Throughout the whole album.
It's like
You're
ugh.
waiting for something bad to happen.
It's disgusting, but it's so beautiful. Like you don't like it's hard to describe because it's such a beautiful sounding album.
It's intoxicating.
But it hurts to listen to for me. So like I can't listen to Blonde every day.
I used to listen to Blonde every day. I need to listen, like you said, I'm going through it right now. Not for the reasons now, but like I need to listen to Blonde tonight. Compositionally, it's very like the whole album is very minimal.
Mm-hmm.
It's very minimal. It's very simple, but everything is effective. The way like Frank Ocean isn't the most talented singer or like vocalist,
No, but he.
but
uses
the
it,
way he uses his voice
Mhm.
is better than any other artist I can think of.
All right. Yeah, like you say it's simple, but that's not to say it's not.
No,
like,
no, it's not. It's like
it's like
it's purposefully. It's not like
yeah, but like you hear it and you like this took a long time to make.
yeah. He waited. Okay, so his it's a sequel to Channel Orange, which came out 3 years before,
Yeah,
and he kept teasing the album. He ended up making 2 albums. He released one to get out of a deal with a label, and then released Blonde independently.
no, Endless. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a week before or something like that, 3 days before.
There's a masterpiece too.
Endless is amazing. Endless is very underrated. But
I don't know. That's his fault though. No one can hear it.
I got the CD.
Yeah.
He released the merch. Anyway, Blonde, like, with little to no promotion other than soon, or just very,
Yeah.
very, I can't think of the word, but just a picture or something, and people like dissect everything with meaning because like Frank Ocean writes like an artist paints, and people say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Frank Ocean can say one thing and have 1,000 meanings, and they're sprinkled throughout the entire album, throughout entire songs sometimes, in compositions, in refrains, choruses, verses, intros, ad libs.
Yeah.
Just it's to me a very perfect album. It's my favorite album of all time for that reason.
I remember the rollout for Blonde was very weird and interesting, but some of you may remember this, but like the staircase building thing.
Yeah, that was
And that was the rollout for Endless,
that
but
was
like
the rollout for Endless, but
they
we
were with,
knew that it was not
yeah, they were within 2 days of each other.
something
So
like that.
yeah, so
Yeah, people were like, "Is this really like the album we've been waiting for?" And then there was like a rumor that he was dropping another one the next day. So like Endless came out on like a Thursday, and then Blonde came. No, Endless
Blonde
came
came out
out.
on a Saturday.
Blonde came out on a Saturday, but it was like 11. It was like midnight on a Saturday. So Central Time it was like
I don't think so. I think it came out in the afternoon because Nikes came out that morning. I remember that day because I was in high school I was a softball manager for our softball team. Not our baseball. I wasn't the softball manager for the football team. But I was our softball manager. I remember the morning I went to that game, the Nikes video came out. I was like, okay, like this is cool, but it was like offsetting because
the
they're
Nikes
off-putting.
video. The Nikes video is amazing.
It
I
is,
love
but
it
like
so much.
when that was the only thing, like it was very off-putting because
And it had the high voice, which is
Yeah,
like the
so you were
final
like-
version on the album. Then it has like the ad libs from the low voice that kind of interrupt the song, but like the song's still playing. It's just him talking over the song.
yeah, so it was like, what is this? Like is he
Yeah.
dropping something? And then Blonde, I remember it came out that afternoon because we were on the bus on the way home.
Yeah. It might have been just because I didn't have any. It was because I didn't have like any streaming services, so I
Yeah.
got it like from our friend Brandon. I got it from him like that night,
Right.
and then I listened to it Sunday morning. Dude, I know where I was the first time I heard every song. I remember I ran a stop sign listening to one of the songs. I almost got into a wreck.
On those awful car speakers you had too.
Yeah. On the Ambassador Bluemobile, the Buick Century,
Oh my goodness. Like
Midnight Blue. This sounded like napkins. Like you were just playing napkins. It sounded like you had a phone speaker and you held napkins over the phone. That's what the stereo system in my car was.
it was pretty bad. And it was like only the front speakers too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I love that car, but I'm glad I have better speakers now.
Yeah.
I miss it sometimes.
No, you missed the Ambassador Bluemobile?
I do.
How come?
Because I just have a lot of memories in that car.
Blonde?
Yeah. Blonde. I'll just chill in that car just because.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. And Frank Ocean's thing is he remembers like in every single song he has, or not every song, but like a lot of the memories that he has is related to like a car.
Yeah.
Like Channel Orange is about
But an orange BMW.
an orange BMW, and he has what's that one song that you White Ferrari,
Mhm.
and then he has he referenced one in either Ivy or Pink and White.
Yeah,
It was-
and he's got the race car helmet on in some of the pictures.
Yeah, dude.
and- yeah, he's like into like I think that's obvious one of his I don't know if muses.
It is.
Like his vehicles.
I think so, yeah. He's a car guy. What's your, off top, what is your favorite song, like, gut reaction? First song you think of when I say what is your favorite song from Blonde?
Solo.
Solo?
It's my favorite to sing.
That was hard. That's a good song to sing. I was going down. Never mind. I don't want to. It won't matter. But
Solo and I never know if I'm saying it right. Siegfried.
Siegfried.
Yeah. See, I don't ever know if I say it right, but
That's
yeah,
my Siegfried became my
love that
favorite
song.
song this year. This semester became my favorite song.
I love that song. That's a great song. Not brave. Yeah.
You need to listen. If you haven't, you need to listen to this album.
All the way through. We actually showed it to a girl on campus here, and she cried.
First time. The first time. If you're in the mood to cry, listen to Blonde.
Yeah, we were just like chilling in our room one night, and this girl that we knew from high school came over, and she'd never heard it before, so we just turned it. We didn't say anything.
Yeah, dude. Everyone was like.
Yeah, we didn't say anything. We just turned it on, and
And then
everyone
our suite mate came in
Yeah.
and sat down and didn't say anything. You
Yeah.
never heard it either.
everyone just got real quiet and started crying. It was awesome,
It was great. It was
Oh.
great bonding.
man. If you guys
Listen to
wanna,
Blonde in a group.
yeah, if you're here
It
on
was your first time.
if you're here on campus and you haven't heard it and you want to listen to it with us,
North Ellis 305.
yeah,
Schedule an appointment.
reach out to us. Let's do that. It'd be awesome.
Ah.
It'd be funny to have a guest on here. Just like the whole show is just us listening to Blonde.
it would just be a stream of Blonde because we wouldn't be saying anything. We might sing along.
Just go.
Keep up late. like every now and then it's just like solo.
Yeah,
That kind of episode would get copyright striked so fast
Mm-mm.
on YouTube
a reaction video.
No.
to music.
How did Fine Brothers get away with it?
How does Big Quint get away with it?
Reaction videos, they would just play clips.
Yeah. We
But
wouldn't
if you
listen.
spend the whole podcast listening
Then we'll
to
cut out a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
Then
whatever.
then it's just a clip. of it.
Yeah. We'll upload. Yeah. We'll upload it before and after.
We'll just
Yeah.
make it silent, and I'll tell you. I'll show you what the. We can make the video. This is what the album. Okay, this is what the video is gonna look like, and then just like turn the album on with the video. This is what it's gonna
Yeah,
look
we'll
like.
say we're playing it at 0:16.
That could work.
And we're just gonna
That's Steven's on
in
the
a
floor.
stance. In a little. Can you see him? You can see him. That's what we'll be like. Except my head might be like this. Maybe I'll put it's an experience. That album is an experience for me. I don't know.
That's a good idea for a live stream.
It's sort of an acquired taste, I guess, because there are people that don't like Frank Ocean for some reason. I mean, I guess if you're not into R&B or alternative or good music, then
Look, I want you guys to all be fans, but if you don't like Frank Ocean, like
unsubscribe.
you should
Dislike this video.
You shouldn't like. You shouldn't
Leave
listen
it. Leave
to
a
the
hateful comment if you're feeling hateful.
show.
I can say that now.
Say what?
Now that we're on YouTube,
Leave a hateful comment.
directed at me.
Please dislike.
Call
our
me fat.
videos.
Make fun of this. There's like a little rip in my elbow. Make fun of that.
In your elbow?
On the shirt.
This dude doesn't know what an elbow is.
I don't. That's
I'm
my
gonna,
armpit.
I'm gonna dislike this video.
That's my armpit.
All right. Well, we did that.
We get that out of the way.
That needed to happen, I guess.
So I went first last time, and we kind of tackled that together. I could talk about that and then everything after it like was still part of the Blonded era, you know, like when you had Blonded Radio
No, like biking and lens and stuff.
and Provider,
You like that song? Too.
Moon River,
You like that song too.
Lens is my favorite song of that.
Lens is cool.
The Travis Scott remix,
Fun.
Chanel's
Chanel's fire, yeah.
Chanel's his most popular song.
And Slide. Does Slide count as that too?
Slide was premiered on Blonded Radio, and so was Raph.
Ooh.
Both versions.
I haven't heard that in a while.
Both versions.
Frank Ocean's goat.
He is. Like, I don't know.
We're gonna change the name of the show from Stargazing Radio to
Frank Ocean Radio.
Frank Ocean Goat.
Frank Ocean.
We're done changing the name of the show.
We did it
Actually.
3 times.
I'm sorry, Nick. I thought the show was a democracy.
I mean, but YouTube won't let us change it anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, we'll have to start
This
a
is the
channel.
first time we've been on YouTube. No, it's not.
No,
I
we've
guess
been
you
uploading the audio
uploaded like
versions.
audio stuff.
Yeah,
So that's cool. Okay.
just so you know.
Cool. But yeah, like everything after Blonde that's related to Blonde, like the Blonded radio thing and everything, like it's still awesome. It's still amazing. Frank Ocean's still the best today. I'm waiting.
The best.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm telling them the best.
Yeah, Jonah Hill said it in an interview I saw last night.
That's the real goat.
Jonah Hill said it.
He was a main character in Superbad.
Jonah Hill's movies mid 90s was shown to like 4 people the first screening, the earliest screening. One of them was Frank Ocean. And he said change this, but other than that it's great or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right. Are we ready? I feel like we've kind of dragged that on a little too long. Maybe. I don't know. I don't care. You can't.
It's the best album.
It's the best album of all time. I don't care what you guys think.
All right, 2018 stuff.
Hey, what do you think is the best album of all time, Colby?
Oh, there we
I
go.
might get to know you.
Oh man.
You on camera right now?
No, it's
On
fine.
camera? Nick, how do we get on camera?
Got that
Is he on that? This is like the top of his head on that?
probably.
That's fine.
I think my best album of all time would be probably Ocean Eyes by Owl City, which is a completely different
That's what's
speed
up.
of what you guys were talking
Really?
about.
No, but that's what's up.
No,
I know
that's
what you're talking about.
Probably my favorite album.
Really?
That's what's up.
Yeah.
How come?
That's cool.
Fireflies and stuff. I think
Well, yeah.
Owl City is actually just one guy.
Yeah.
He makes and writes all
Yeah,
the
he's
songs.
like 30-something.
Adam Young. With the whole, like, even the deluxe version, I mean, there's like, I think like 18 songs on the album. And like each song is like a different description, I think, of like this like world that's like in his imagination. And he tries to like tell you like what it's about. He tries to describe it the best way possible. And that's why a lot of his lyrics, like if you just like listen to it once, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But if you listen to it a few times and really try to see what he sees, it's some really awesome stuff. It's really,
That's what's up.
I love it a lot. It's
So what,
Ocean
like,
Eyes.
so what shaped your tastes? Like
Yeah.
what got you into Owl City and stuff
You're
like
our
that,
first.
you know?
You're our first interview.
I like it. Yeah, probably like the one that like emotionally shaped me the most would probably be Ocean Eyes by Owl City, and I'd say probably hearing Fireflies on the radio is what got me into Owl City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was like 2009, so I was in like junior high. That I don't know. I feel like I could see that world he was trying to describe through each song.
So is it like a fantasy kind of thing?
Is it like so?
Or-
Where does Fireflies land on that track list? Because that album's very like descriptive. It's like
Like
it's
in
like
the
a bunch of
middle.
events and like things that.
Yeah.
Like on the actual just track list, I think Fireflies is somewhere just around the middle. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't start with Fireflies or
Right.
anything. I don't know how else to describe it. You just have to listen to it and really just binge out on it and just sit there and really listen to what he's trying to say.
Is the whole thing like
Firefly is it like electronic? The whole
it's
thing's
like
electronic?
soft electronic music?
Yeah, most of it's like that synth pop kind of noise. That's what most of his stuff is. There's some acoustic guitar in some of it.
Yeah.
But most of it, yeah, it's kind of that keyboard electronic sound.
So is that like what you're like? Is that like the kind of music you would say you listen to the most?
Yeah, that's where I started out, and then I kind of branched into like some dubstep stuff and some like EDM kind of stuff.
Okay.
I really like a lot of instrumental music, more like orchestrated kind of stuff. Film scores, I love
Yeah.
film scores.
That's cool.
John Williams and stuff.
John Williams is type.
I listen to a lot of different kind of music. I
Oh,
listen
that's
to a lot
cool.
alternative too.
That's cool to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
like
mess with that.
that's a good contrast for us, huh?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to be on the show?
I mean, I guess if you
I
don't
mean,
mind.
Colby's part of the show now.
Colby,
All right.
you're next
Yeah.
time. Next time, you're not sitting there. You're sitting.
All
there.
right.
I don't know.
All right, I could do that.
Cool.
All
Dude,
right.
one of these times I want to have Nick as the special guest.
Yeah.
I want to have Nick here,
Yeah.
and I'll produce the show.
Yeah. Huh?
No, someone's got to make this all work.
I mean,
Nick has a very important and difficult job.
crash course.
Crash
I-
course.
I appreciate Nick very much. My knee. hit
This
the
show would not
table.
be possible without the legend Nick Pratch.
I love you
Love you too.
Claps for him.
in a very platonic way.
Yeah.
Slightly. What's the opposite of romantic?
Romantically,
Slightly romantic.
I'd take him out. I'd take you out on a date.
I mean, you have invited me to Chili's like 3 times.
And Applebee's.
Chili's.
Applebee's.
No, that's Applebee's. Yeah, and you still haven't come. You're hard to get.
We were supposed to go Monday.
You didn't say anything about it.
Neither did you.
So albums of 2018.
We're going to Applebee's soon. You see us
Catch
there.
us,
If
catch
you
us at
You
Applebee's.
see us there. We're not doing autographs, okay? We only do autographs on campus.
I'm not doing
A live
autographs.
stream from Applebee's might be kind of cool.
That's we had that discussion earlier. I don't get it. It's just
Like hook up a Zoom recorder to your phone and just go.
it's like someone does that with a Sharpie and it's like worth $200 now.
Can I get your autograph? Is it? No.
Why?
Okay.
Okay.
Albums of 2018, our favorites. Okay.
Yeah. You start.
Kids See Ghosts is up there for me. I really like Kids See Ghosts.
That's a great album. It was between that and another one for me, but yeah, that's a great album. Kids See Ghosts is awesome. Have you heard it?
No,
The
I
Kids See-
haven't.
Kids See Ghosts is a collaboration between Kanye West and Kid Cudi, and it was like something that fans have been wanting for years. And they kind of worked on it in secret, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's like no one expected it to like finally to like actually happen, and it did. It's only like 7 songs, but anyway, that's you describe it as your album.
Oh, it's just like great, you know. So Kanye did that whole Wyoming thing where they produced, or they came out with 5 albums in 5 weeks that he produced. So there was Daytona. I mean, Daytona has the best rapping of the year.
Yeah, that's my album.
Is it Daytona?
Yeah, my album's Daytona.
Yeah, so just like that whole Wyoming thing. So with Daytona, and then Ye, and then Kids See Ghosts, and then
Nazir.
Nazir, the Nas album, and then Tiana Taylor.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was out of that Wyoming project, the 5-week thing, and I had loved it, man. Like Kanye has been a real,
In the news.
yeah, he's been.
But
a
you
real
know
pain
what?
This year, but
you know what, dude? He made Kids See Ghosts this year.
He's a musical genius.
It's fine. I mean, all that aside, I can put that aside.
Yeah.
I can put that aside and still be patiently waiting for like Yandi and be ready to listen to Yandi, the album he's working on now. But like I like Ye, I like Kids See Ghost, and my album of the year right now is Daytona by Pusha T. It's the best rapping on any album this year. By far.
It hurts me to pick a favorite album this year
It does. It's been a really great year.
because
I could talk about a lot of albums that came out this
like
year.
I bet, I mean, like I'm sure a lot of people like listening like really like Beer Bongs and Bentleys. That was like
They probably do.
that's like the big album. That and Scorpion were the big albums this year.
Yeah. Astroworld.
Astroworld came out. I love Travis Scott.
Astroworld's awesome.
I'm a big Travis Scott fan. That came out. For me, Breaking Benjamin dropped an album this year.
Yeah.
Ember came out. So it was hard for me to pick an album. But for me, it's Kids See Ghosts. It's just really well put together. You know, it flows really well. All 7 tracks. I really like the Fourth Dimension, the sample they used for that.
Yeah, the Christmas song.
That's awesome. And then there's a Cuddy montage with Kurt Cobain.
Yes.
Yeah, the last song. That's crazy.
That whole thing was genius compositionally and just the chemistry, the energy. The first track, they started with Pusha T, and then
Yeah.
like Kanye's like mimicking the gunfire, like that's actually going on in the song.
Yeah, it's great, man. And then there's Ghost Town. Was it Ghost Town Part 2?
Yeah, free.
Yeah. Love that song. I love
It's
that
very
album.
psychedelic.
Yeah. You know, I haven't, like, I'll say it, like, I haven't heard it enough. Not for, like, my own taste, but, like, I love that album so much. It's my favorite thing that came out this year.
Yeah. Mine is Daytona by Pusha T, produced entirely by Kanye West. The thing about this album is that it's not the album we were going to get. Pusha T had an album done called King Push. It was an album that he's been promoting since like 2013. And then he finally finished it and brought it to Kanye. And then Kanye said, "This is good, but I can make something better." And I don't know if King Push was better. I don't know how it could be, because as a rap or hip hop purist, as some might say, I've heard someone call me that before, this is the best rapping of any album in the past couple years, I think. This is the best rapping. It's just so and it's hard for me to describe things I like because I just start thinking about it and I think about how much I like it.
Yeah.
But like the production, it starts off and he's already like rapping.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say rapping a lot because that's what it is.
Hmm?
It's purely rapping, except for they're singing on Santeria. But other than that, it's rapping. And I don't know how much what that phrase means to you. Like, I get it. Like, can you use another word to describe it? But like, dude,
It's just bar after
it's just
bar.
bars.
Yeah. And it's all about like, I mean, the whole album's about him selling drugs.
But it's like, but he uses it as for metaphors too. Like, I don't know, because now he's the president of good music.
Yeah.
And so he's like, he learned how to run a business through doing that. You know?
That's interesting. Huh? We're all in college.
Yeah.
His team made money while figuring that out.
Yeah. And the features are fire. Kanye West on What Would Meek Do? The beat. Like,
Oh yeah.
Rick Ross
I forgot
on
about
Hard Piano.
Mm-hmm.
The Drake diss at the end. And then because of Daytona, that turned into a whole thing.
That's still a thing.
That's still going on today. Pusha T was just on the Joe Budden podcast
Yesterday.
earlier this week.
That was yesterday. Well, I guess if you're gonna watch it in the future, that was it was
Yeah.
October 17th.
Yeah. And they were still. He was like, there's still new developments in that whole like beef. It's crazy that like everything that happened because of that album has made hip hop better in my opinion,
Yeah.
especially this year. And it's like the perfect album to kick off the whole 5-week thing that was like the Wyoming experience, and like just see like finding the like looking at beat breakdowns and like samples that Kanye used on the album are insane. Compositionally, it's all insane, dude. Except when I had my old car, there was a couple songs that all I could hear were hi-hats and a snare. Because that one song, Come Back Baby, where it's
Yeah.
like just all bass and like, yeah, yeah. All I heard were hi-hats and a snare, but
But he was going.
flowing. Dude, Pusha T is the hardest rapper alive. I say that about a lot of rappers, but
No,
dude,
Push T is, man. And you know, like the whole Drake feud, like the big like pushback.
then
The whole pushback from like Drake fans is like, no one's heard of Pusha T, but like
like
you
that
need to
doesn't
listen,
matter.
because Daytona's excellent.
Daytona made me want to start like writing again, and every time I listen to it, I like go back to my notes and start writing more. It's crazy. That album's insane.
So there you go. I think the whole Wyoming thing.
Basically, the Wyoming thing is album of the year.
It's album of the
Wyoming is album of the year.
That's 30 songs. They're all 7 tracks or 5, so that's 30 songs. I mean, that's
35. Wait,
There's 5 albums.
yeah, 7 tracks,
35. 35. Stay in school, kids.
35 songs, and they're all not all of them are great. The Nasir one is the weakest,
Yeah.
but I still like Adam and Eve and Bonjour and Cop Shot the Kid. A lot of people like the song with Kanye, or not the song, like Cop Shot the Kid has Kanye, but the song where Kanye's like singing and the dream is singing. I forgot what that one's called, but
I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
I'll look it up.
okay. And then I don't know, and that album came out on my birthday, and it works because it's Nas's daughter's birthday as well as Kanye's daughter's birthday. So that was cool.
Everything. So that song's called
Everything, yes.
Yep.
That's a lot of people's favorite song. I don't know why.
It's really long. Isn't it like 9 minutes?
Yeah, that takes up the bulk of that album. The rest of it's really good,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the dream is sick.
So yeah, that whole thing was good. I mean, there's been other good stuff though. I mean,
for sure.
I mean, we're limited to what we listen to. So like, you know,
Yeah, Colby
Yeah.
was talking about, like, before we were talking about, like, well, what album? And then Kobe said 21 Pilots just dropped. So, like, he listens to that.
Trench. Yeah, I
And,
haven't heard
and
that
he,
yet.
and I thought you did.
Well, I haven't heard the whole thing through.
Oh, okay.
But like, I listened to songs. So I was like, oh, this is good.
Some great songs on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, Trench, my favorites, the Tierra Whack album, Whack World. That's 15 songs. Each song is a minute long. There's a 15-minute music video for it.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy because, to me, every song feels complete and done in under a minute. And like the story and everything is tight. And then another favorite, I just put Steven onto this. Care for Me by Saba.
Oh my goodness. Woo.
That's like,
That's a great album.
it's a great album. It's very real. It's a very real album, very down to earth.
I hope we don't use the term great too. I think we do. I think we use the term great too loosely.
I don't.
I just like what I like, and I don't, consider anything else, I guess. But
I'm talking subjectively,
yeah.
except for Frank Ocean because he's just the best.
Yeah,
But
if you want, and if you want, like, we're not music reviewers, I don't think. That's not our role. We're just
No.
talking about how we feel.
yeah,
If you want, like, I don't, like, Anthony Fantano gave Care For Me, a 6?
it's like a 6 or 7.
Yeah, but that's a 10 to me. That's one of the top 5 albums for me this year.
Yeah, for
So,
me, like albums are usually like, it goes like 10, 5, 0. I either like it, it's like whatever, or I just whatever. I don't need it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like my point I was trying to make earlier. We're limited to what we listen to. We listen to mostly, urban contemporary stuff.
Yeah, I haven't heard it. I haven't heard everything. We can't.
Like I don't know anything about the pop synth. EDM scene.
Yeah. I don't know if there's an album that came out this year from that genre that I like. Do you listen to like house music?
No, not really.
Have you heard Against All Logic?
No, I haven't.
Okay, that's like the only thing close to that I listen to, I think. And I don't even think it's in the same ballpark because I think I have a misunderstanding of that genre.
I don't listen to a lot of like synth pop, mostly just Owl City. And he put out an album this year, but it was completely different than like all of his previous stuff
Yeah.
because he sang about his life and his experiences. So
Rather
it was
than-
a totally
rather-
different vibe.
Rather than something that was just like purely fictional.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's a good switch up though. Like that's important.
definitely.
And then there's a lot of albums that haven't come out this year that are going to be great, I think.
You know what albums were bad this year?
Are you asking me?
Kamikaze sucks. That's my hot take of the day.
Is that a hot take?
Yeah, because that's the best-selling album of the year.
That doesn't mean it's a hot take.
Dude.
It just means a lot of people listen to it. Kamikaze's not good. But
Let's get opinionated. Eminem, Kamikaze sucks.
Are we going to have 2018 music hot takes? Is this how we're... Okay.
I feel like that could be a whole podcast.
It can be. Where are we at on
like
time?
maybe next week. We've been recording for about an hour.
Really?
Yeah, 55 minutes.
All right, well, we're going to close on how
Yeah,
just
40.
bad Kamikaze is, I guess.
Dude,
Because that's something I wanted to be good and, like, objectively should be good. It's just not.
it's not. It doesn't translate well at all. The Joyner Lucas song is trash.
Yeah, like, tie it all back together. Like, the person who got me into hip-hop was Eminem.
Me too. Well, that's who made me like fall in love with hip hop. He didn't get me into hip hop. He made me fall in love with it though.
Yeah. So, just to hear, like, man, what a drop-off.
I definitely outgrew that
Yeah.
because even still going back, I'm like,
Not your thing still?
no, except for like the Eminem show. That's good. That's some good stuff.
I still like it, but anything after Recovery for me is just like, dude.
Yeah,
It's like his flow changed.
yeah. He's sober now. I really think that's what it is.
You really think that, like, affects your...
Yeah, because a lot of people like use I don't know. I can't think of the word right now. I'm sick too. But like I don't know. They use like drugs and alcohol to like get in the zone, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Testing. What's the song? Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
You said that they made that beat on acid?
That's crazy.
Or they made that song on acid
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah.
Like, without that, they would have never made that song. Like, actually, because they did that and made the song. Their way of thinking was, like, altered. And
That's a great song.
it is a good song. Testing. Here's another one. Testing isn't bad. Everyone hates Testing.
Yeah.
That's a great album.
Your opinion of Kamikaze and your opinion of Testing, flip those.
Yeah.
If you're going to watch the show,
If
we
you
need you to do
if you dislike Testing and like Kamikaze, but like Testing is fire. Testing, like, I don't know.
It
I don't know
lived
what
up to the
people
name.
I don't know what people expected. Did they expect My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy? That's what it sounds like. It sounded like they expected like a 10 out of 10 album. But bro,
that. Just messing around. Because you can.
he's just but it's still fire. Like, I love OG Beeper. I love
OG Beaver's fire.
I love the remix to ASAP Forever, but I don't like the actual version. Like the one with Kid Cudi. Like, that's
Yeah. I think what hurts
hard.
Testing is there's a lot of moments on the album that drag.
That's true.
But, man, like, when that album shines, it shines
Frank Ocean's on there twice, fella.
twice. That's right. What song was that he was on?
Purity.
Purity. That's a great Frank Ocean verse. Frank Ocean's the best rapper, dude.
He's the best rapper, singer, writer, producer,
I think it's funny how we
Instrumentalist.
circle back to all of our stuff.
because it's the best. Because I mean, he's related somehow in every other way. Frank Ocean is Iris and Zeus. Frank Ocean's all 12 Greek gods. That's a callback to another.
Yeah, that's our
podcast
last
we had.
episode. So, yeah, go listen to that. Our last one.
Listen to Nick and listen to our podcast.
Yeah. I think
Oh, okay.
that's a good stopping point for this one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, mine was the album that shaped my taste was Collision Course by Jay-Z and Linkin Park, even though it was hard for me to really like dissect and get into a little bit. But I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's just what it is, and it got me into hip hop. My favorite album of all time, and the one that I connect with on the most personal and emotional level, is Blonde by Frank Ocean, and my favorite album of 2018 is Daytona.
Or mine. My music tastes were Recovery and Phobia. And my emotional is Blonde and Phobia. And my favorite album in 2018 was Kids See Ghosts. So there we go.
And Colby, you can.
My emotional one was Ocean Eyes by Owl City.
Owl City.
And then probably the one that shaped my music a lot would be Vessel by 21 Pilots. And then my favorite this year would probably be Trench by 21 Pilots.
That's awesome, man. I like 21 Pilots. They go. Like really like I really do. Like I don't know. They're like a mix of like the rock hip hop stuff. They do it in a different way.
Yeah, it's very
I like it. But like
nonchalant.
but like I didn't like Stressed Out when I was on the radio, but now I listen to it in like better headphones and like now it's not so popular. It's like that's a great song.
which one is that one? Like,
Stressed Out? If we could
Like
turn
that?
back time to the good old days. You know that song?
Is that what I
Mama
did?
sang
Is
us
that what
to
I just
sleep,
did?
But now we stressed
I wish there
out.
was a ball summer.
That song is called Stressed Out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just so you know.
Yeah.
he said that.
So what's that?
I thought you were trying to think of the name of the song and just
No, I
started
was singing
singing
to
it.
him. Said he didn't know he was thinking of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like Car Radio.
I think I
Car
know.
Radio is
Car Radio is
I
awesome.
Think, I
Amazing.
think I know what I'm talking about. No one really knows what they're talking about. They just think they do. That's gonna be the last thing that I say.
Yeah, but no, Car Radio, like that's a very cathartic song for me. Just the build up to it, I love that. I wish I could scream that well.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so there we go. That's our podcast this week. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe this video. Again, we're on Instagram at Stargazing Podcast, on Twitter at Stargazing Pod. It's our YouTube channel. Nick, are we gonna be on SoundCloud too?
This last week was our last week on SoundCloud.
Okay, so our first 3 episodes on SoundCloud, but they're also here on YouTube. So just be sure to check us out. Thank
We're
you for
gonna-
listening.
We're gonna stay here.
Stay on YouTube from now on. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. Have a great one.